Hi, just few thoughts about few things one more time. This paper bark, it's very good to use in the smoker. Very good. It doesn't make that much soot like the pine needles. Pine needles are terrible. It makes like a tar as they burn up, and it impairs. Here you have to clean it many times. This is quite good. I really like it. I would recommend it. You want a cold smoke, not a very flamey with sparks and things like that to put on the bees. That's one thing. Do I have a friend here? Hello, friend. I hope you haven't come to snack my bees. That's a blue-tongued lizard. Just a beautiful blue tongue. I know she lives here. Hello. I'm not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. She's quite big, maybe 30 centimeter. And she has a blue tongue, you see? That's beautiful. You have heard me before talking about these double screen boards. They're different in design, you can find out there. The idea is that you would have a screen on the bottom, a screen on the top, so the bees may not touch each other, the ones from below, with these ones. How I use them, you see, some people will have just two holes, big holes in the middle with just screen, and that would be enough. The idea is that heat rises from the family below, would go through the screen and would warm up your split, which especially in the first part of spring when it's cold, the foragers bees, the workforce might leave the split and go back to the mother hive, so they will be left with fewer bees and with difficulties to keep warm if you keep the split away or separate. That is a very important thing, that they would have the warmth. Now, no problem with these screen bottom boards. These are just skirting boards I've salvaged. Some of you have seen before. I made them into this. I really like reusing stuff rather than throwing them in the bin. And once you have something like this, you could use it for a very long time. You've seen me before how the split sits here, and then they would have an exit through here and off they go. Now in the last video or so I have touched upon that it was kind of a 50-50% of chance early splits are problematic because the lack of numbers of the drones or the weather, and you may not have a very high rate of success. Well, I have another thing to show you. I have one very weak colony. It was a swarm which I put in a box, and then somehow the queen was not there. I just don't know what to make of it. And then in my last video I showed you the video with the two big swarms. The smaller swarm I have put in that nuke which hasn't made it previously. Well, I checked it today and it's kind of back to the drawing board. That swarm has disappeared from inside. So my procedure of dropping a swarm into a nuke with bees, it was questionable at the time, but basically you have to be trying to learn. So the queen could have been killed in me dumping that swarm straight into an established nuke. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring it tonight when no more foragers bees are out. I'm gonna bring it and put it over this hive. This hive is really packed, and I want to help it with frames. So the number of bees I'm gonna bring with 4 or 5 frames in that weak nuke, they're not that many, but just to and you can see it's a similar board like this one, but this is just newspaper. This is all empty here, all empty, and I just put a sheet of newspaper with a little bit of masking. And tonight I'm gonna bring that nuke and place it on top of here. What's gonna happen? Same thing I've done here. It was similar, and the rate of success, it's 100%. So every time I tried with newspaper, bringing a colony, a weaker colony, or a colony which has lost the queen or anything, you bring that colony on top of a queen right colony, on top of a good colony, with a newspaper in between. Don't bother them second day or third day, just give them a couple of days. They would have chewed through the newspaper, and the smell from the below to the it's gradually through that holes in newspaper, and I have never had a problem for the queen to be killed or anything. So this is what I'm gonna do here. I'm bringing tonight that just to merge it with this. I want to show you kind of a live action which I have showed before. This is a split which I have made, and it is on top of this nice and strong hive, and I have a very beautiful queen which today I have marked. It's a Caucasian one, and she's laying well. So I'm really pleased with this board. The only thing which, so if I am to take that queen nuke, I have to sell it, take it away from, because the bees will tend to go back to that top of the hive if I don't. So that is another thing I need to work on, how moving or using those nukes from a top of a hive would work for the bees to orientate to the same position. I want to show you another thing. I have here 1, 2, 3 swarms, and I think it's kind of a weak old swarms, and I place them there. I'm gonna lift the top and try to put a couple of more frames for them, and I'll show you a pic of it. So this is one swarm, 2, 4, 6 frames. I'm gonna give them 2 more frames, push the frames kind of in the middle and put that in the second position on each. I wanted to mark the queen in this swarm, so I have found that she's already marked. So one of my hives which I have marked the queen before swarmed, and you can see her. She is a carniolan. It's very good if you can have your marker close by and try to mark the queen in a swarm, because when they build up there'll be too many bees and hard for you to do that. Now this is hard to imagine that this is a swarm, but it's exactly what you're seeing. This is just a week old or so, and you can see how many bees are in this box. It's a 10 full framer, and they would need soon a super. Very, very interesting. I have said this is a 10 framer, but it's not. There's 3, 6, 7 frames, and in the middle I had a gap, and you can see what has happened. Sometime you're rushing, you're putting the swarm through, and you're going to work, and look what is here. I should have done it earlier. Well, I'm gonna end here, and I'm gonna say God bless you.